E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories. Live streaming now to millions of devices, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, with your host, Donna Guinwa, producer and host, Jim Grant, producer and host, along with Michaela Vidal, administrator and host, and Gaia Guinwa Balconi Wada, editor-in-chief.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. We hope this Monday afternoon finds you, full of love and joy and ready to take on the week. Today, we're talking about making a difference in business. And folks, do we have some amazing people to talk about?
People that had an idea and turned their dream into a reality. And that's what you do, because not only did they bless themselves or families, but they were a blessing to many others, because some of these folks, they employed a multitude of people, created jobs for a multitude of people.
Absolutely.
And that is so critical. And as we look at this day here on the National Today, this would be right down Emerson Brantley's alley, because he talks about, first time I met Emerson, let me back up. He's standing on stage and he's wearing a pirate's hat. And I'm going like, okay, I didn't know where he was coming from, but that's it started many years ago. I don't know how he got the pirate's hat. It was either given to him. I know. He was going to a costume party. So he went as a pirate. And then he was on a cruise ship, and they were going to be, several people going to be finding him tomorrow. And he said, well, and somebody made the comment about just wear your pirate's hat. So he did. So that's how he could be found in a crowd on a cruise ship.
Right.
And it was a marketing cruise is what it was. And so it just kind of stuck. It became his quote unquote symbol.
Right.
And the reason I say that, because today is National Meow Like a Pirate. And it shows a kitty dressed up like a pirate.
Right.
And also for kids to talk like a pirate. Of course, we want to, keep the language there a little unpirated.
Well, today is also National Butterscotch Pudding Day. Yum.
Yeah.
Although I don't know what it is. Butterscotch to me is usually just too rich.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not something I can have a whole lot of.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. I'm not a fan of butterscotch. I can take it in small doses, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's just too rich for me. But this one is awesome. National Cat DNA Day.
DNA, yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it comes to our cats. They are exceptionally
loved.
Yeah, and part of our life, big part of our lives.
Absolutely.
And also, I'll take this one here since I fit the category better than you. Respect for the aged day. Respect for our elders. And when a society loses the respect for their elders, they've lost their purpose for existing. They really have. There's no other way to put it. And the final one there is, I'll let you take that one there. I've never heard of this though. Go ahead.
Well, you go ahead and take it, because I just lost my national day.
Okay. National Woman Road Warrior Day. Juggling housework and a hectic work schedule requires travel isn't easy. That's what makes these women road warriors, going to work, coming back, going to the grocery store, doing soccer, all of those things. Yeah. But I bet you never thought of yourself as a road warrior, huh?
A warrior. Definitely a warrior.
Yep. Understand.
Well, Jim, you have a specific gal you want to talk about first.
Yeah. She's out of Tucson, Arizona. She's originally from Bisbee, Arizona. Her name was Cele, Cele Peterson. And she was known as the first lady of fashion in Tucson, Arizona. And Celeste, she was known as Cele Peterson. She worked there and served the Tucson area more than 75 years, and she died at the age of 101. But what's really amazing is that when she started out as a young girl growing up in Bisbee, Arizona, she was just, just a typical kid. And she got into places where she shouldn't have get in places because that's a mining industry. You can imagine all of the caves they went into and things of this nature. And she was just, she was a tomboy is what she was. And you can imagine some of the things she went through in her life, some of the things that we did. And when she was, she got a job working for, on the staff of a congressman. And that was right after college. And she met her husband and they moved to Tucson. And she started in the clothing business. She actually had a store one time right there in Bisbee, Arizona. In fact, my mother-in-law bought that store from her and from the lady that bought it from her, I should say. And with that, on her very first buying trip that she went to in New York City, now this was back in the early 30s, in the summer of 31. I mean, she was, she worked for Senator Carl Hayden, but after that, she went into the clothing business because that's what her parents did. They were in the business. She goes on a buying trip, and this guy in New York City asked her, says, because he found out she's from Arizona, the Wild West. Do you have a gun? She says, I sure do. And she was carrying a gun with her, and he was kind of blown away by it,
I love it.
Oh, yeah. And she was known as, she had a co-ed shop at the corner of Stone Avenue and Pennington Avenue there in Tucson, Arizona. But what made her so unique was her clientele. She was known to have some of the best and unique clothes around. And a lot of the celebrities of that day, they would visit her. Lady Astor was one, Debbie Reynolds, Elizabeth Taylor would come to Tucson, Arizona and buy from her. And even during the slack times when things were, economy was down and all that, her store continued to not only survive, but thrive and grow.
Well, if I recall right, Jim, though, it was her way of thinking about business that made her successful.
Yes, it was, because she had a very basic comment, and everything that she did just involved this particular frame of mind. And her comment that she built her business around, she says, I don't sell people what they need. I sell people what they want.
Right.
And when you think about that, Donna.
Oh, yeah.
Think about how any entrepreneur out there could offer people. Now, there's a lot of people out there offering what you need or trying to get you to buy what they think you need or whatever. But think about the ones that can draw people to them because they have what they want.
Right.
They really do. That's amazing.
Yep. Really is. She was something. So I have a person, Jim, that I want to talk about. And he is pretty impressive. And it is Sir Richard Branson and why integrity matters. Okay, so I think most of us have heard that his philosophy is take care of your employees and take care of them well. And your employees will take care of your customers. Right? So this is a really long article, and I obviously won't go into the whole thing. But the popular leadership takes vision and imagination, and it requires a certain optimism. a determination and creativity, the sort of characteristics that inspire confidence. Confidence that turns other people into followers. To become a leader, one must have the ability to clearly and forcefully articulate a vision and work towards turning that dream into a reality for the common welfare. Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. And that was said by Warren Bennis. Okay. Well, he takes this. This is a super long article, but I love what he says because, of course, he's the founder of the Virgin Group, and he has over 400 businesses under him to this day. And he believes, and I'm summarizing here, but he believes to train your people so well that they can go anywhere, but treat them even better to where they never want to leave. That is integrity.
It really is. And one of his comments is just really hits the nail on the head. It's very simple. It says, if you aren't making a difference in other people's lives, you shouldn't be in business. It's that simple.
Right. And this is without integrity, leaders might be victims over their egos ruling over themselves, self-creating catastrophic consequences for the organization. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people with good things, whether it was when speaking or at a event, people with really great ideas or a really great product, but their ego was so big that it didn't matter. Right? So he leads his business with the same fundamental values he grew up with. Throughout his career, he knew that he had to be true to himself in order to make his leadership truly authentic and build confidence within his followers. Richard Branson clearly understands that there is no such thing as leadership without authenticity, as they intensely complement each other. Leadership doesn't have a secret formula. All true leaders go about things in their own way.
They sure do. And I remember Joe Theismann made a very good comment. He used to be the quarterback of the Washington Redskins. And when they went on strike, they couldn't get anything to coaches. So he took it on his own, being the quarterback. I'm going to draw up the game plan, that we normally, some of the plays we use. We're going to do 7-on-7 drills. He'd call up everybody, get everybody organized. And after the strike was over, of course, the team was pretty well trained where the rest of the players in the NFL were on strike. They were sitting at home, And Joe made a very interesting comment. He says, I learned something very important about leadership. Leadership is not getting people to just follow you. Leadership is about getting people to believe in the same things that you do and the principles that you do and buy in on it. And that's exactly right, because in leadership, the military trained that a lot, because if the leader of a squad goes down, they don't have to sit around and have a powwow on who's the next one that's going to step up to the plate. It's
Correct.
automatic. And that's the way leadership has to be.
Right.
There's no other way.
Right, that's true. And one of the things, this is really fascinating. It goes on to say, what truly stands out about Richard Branson's success, however, is the fact that he never went to college. In fact, he never even finished high school. Suffering from dyslexia at a young age, Branson could neither keep up with his classes nor fit in. Yet he knew he could transform his vision into reality. My parents agreed to let me leave school on one condition, that I would do everything I could to turn my ideas into reality. Even though he had no formal education, Richard Branson remained loyal to his upbringing throughout the founding of his organizations, as when hiring his company's C-suite, he prioritizes candidates' passion and commitment over and above their educational backgrounds. Richard Branson Branson has instilled within Virgin a culture that
Mhm.
encourages and even celebrates failure. As an entrepreneur, he understands that without trying something new and failing at it,
Mhm.
it's almost impossible to innovate and grow.
Mhm.
Do not be embarrassed by your failures.
Mhm.
Learn from them and start again.
Mhm.
Making mistakes and experiencing setbacks is part of the DNA of every successful entrepreneur, and I am no exception.
Mhm. Yeah, that's very true. One of the things too he's known about, and visualize this. He's known about his organizations and people who work with him and all the businesses. There's a certain amount of charisma, and that starts with him. And there's also a certain amount of emotion because emotion is energy,
Right.
and that starts with him too. So if you're looking to create, your business or get your business to grow or whatever you want to do, make sure that you align yourself with people who have the same type of energy that you do and focus on that charisma and that emotion, that energy, and follow it. That's the best advice I think we could give them today, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I love how he celebrates failures and doesn't make his
Mm.
employees feel horrible and want to crawl in a corner.
Hmm.
I mean, how many times, Jim, in your life have you worked someplace where you did something that it was maybe not right and you were made to feel horrible for it,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, it's never happened to me personally, but I've seen it happen. And one of the things when I was going to academies and stuff like that in the military for leadership, one of the things that they always hammered in us is you do on the spot corrections privately, but all
Absolutely.
but always praise publicly because that, if you do that, I mean, it just really tears a person down big time. It really does.
Well, and you get more flies with honey than you do vinegar.
Hmm.
So it goes back to you can correct somebody, right? And say, that was an amazing try. And I love the fact that you went for it.
Hmm.
However, that doesn't work. So, we need to think about refocusing. There are ways you can go about it in correcting somebody without making them feel, like they belong in a
Hmm.
gutter.
Absolutely. You're exactly right about that. And when I mention the name Steve Jobs,
Mm,
what comes to mind?
brilliance,
Yeah, Apple,
brilliance.
Apple computer and all that. And Steve was born in 1955. He passed away in October the 5th, 2011. And he's definitely a person that lived the dream. And he's the co-founder of Apple, along with Steve Wozniak. And he was born in San Francisco. And his father was a Syrian, and his mother was German American. And shortly after he was adopted, shortly after his birth, and he attended Reed College, excuse me, in 1972. Withdrawing that same year, in 1974, he traveled through India seeking enlightenment and studying Zen Buddhism. And throughout his travels, uh, Jobs did not realize that he was really on a mission. It kind of came to him. And many times in life, that's what happens to us. We may not realize, 10 years from now where we're going to be. We're on a
Right.
pathway there. But if we follow the energy and we don't get distracted with what we think we should be doing or the direction we think we should be going in, that's going to lead us. And that's pretty much what happened to Steve Jobs here. And he and Wozniak, they co-founded Apple in 1976, and that was back when I don't think I'd heard of computers, yes, but computers were not common.
Hmm.
They were not common at all. In fact, I remember when a compact computer got started in Houston, Texas. It was created in a coffee shop over a napkin. The business plan was wrote out on a napkin. And then one of the guys who started Compact Computer, I don't recall his name offhand, but he got voted out. And the reason why he got voted out was that he still visualized Compact Computer as being the standard type of computer. He did not see the growth of computers into the PC world, laptops, cell phones, and all that. He just didn't have the vision.
Right.
And so that's the reason why he was voted out. But with Steve Jobs, what he did as a visionary, he had an open mind. And that's the biggest part of success right there. And because Donna, we both have seen people that's got open minds. We've seen people that's got closed minds.
Right.
And there is a big difference on the scale of success, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. It's the difference of perpetual growth or perpetual stagnation.
Yeah.
Truly
really
is. Well, how about this one, Jim? Eberhard Anheuser and Adolphus Busch. So
I'll drink to that.
Until Eberhard Anheuser and his son-in-law, Adolphus Busch, envisioned brewing a national beer, most breweries of the day operated only locally. To ship the beer across country, the two brewers introduced technical developments to make the feat possible. In the 1870s, Anheuser-Busch was the first American brewery to introduce pasteurization, allowing beer to be bottled and shipped to new markets for consumption. It later introduced artificial refrigeration and refrigerated rail cars to distribute the beer cold from the brewery. With these innovations, Anheuser-Busch forever shaped the alcoholic beverage industry in the United States and is today responsible for about half of the U.S. beer sales. Now, I'm going to tell you something interesting. In Ohio, you can go, when we lived there, my husband at that time would go and pick up, he was hauling an end dump. And so an end dump, it goes way, 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 way up above the cab of the truck, almost at an angle like this. And they would go and to Anheuser-Busch and get the all the leftover barley and stuff that they would strain out. And then they would take that. Farmers will order that and give it to their cows because it's really good for them.
Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted to say that real quick because I find it amazing how they found a need for the end result of the process that's already been done. And it helps, granted they're being paid for it, of course, by the farmer, but it helps the farmer because it helps the cow. So there's no real waste, so to speak. So I think that's just amazing that, they've taken it even one step further.
Absolutely. It shows that, there's always a need and there's always a way of passing on something that's still got value to someone else.
Right.
And that's what we need to do, especially in the physical world and that sort of thing. This guy here, I've always been a huge fan of. I loved his stories. Aaron Montgomery Ward.
Yes.
And Montgomery Wards, it was first known as Montgomery Wards, then later more so as Wards, but everybody knew it and referred to it as, tell me, Donna.
Monkey Wards.
Monkey Wards.
Yes, grew up with that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they would send out catalogs, folks. And for you younger folks that missed out on that, they even had a farm and a ranch catalog that had everything in it. And it was just a man's book that he enjoyed sitting down because you'd see things in there that you didn't normally see. That was the
Mhm.
advantage of the catalog.
And you didn't know you needed.
That's right. You couldn't live without it too, because we didn't have the internet in those days, and of
Nope.
course, life was a lot more simple. But getting a catalog, think about that.
And you didn't get the catalog all the time.
Uh-uh.
Let's be clear about that. It only
Yeah.
came what, once, twice a year?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, and they'd send out catalogs like for spring and fall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so when you got the catalog in, it was a treat. And to sit down and go through and thumb through the pages.
And dream.
Oh, yeah. Oh, your wish list would just start getting longer and longer and longer and
Yeah.
longer. It was a treat. And I still miss those old catalogs. I really do. I really do.
Yep. Well, I want to talk about this lady,
Mhm.
1867 to 1919,
Mhm.
Madam C.J. Walker. Her accomplishments as an inventor, entrepreneur, and philanthropist are nothing short of amazing,
Mhm.
considering the time in which she lived and the short stack she was dealt. Born
Mhm.
2 years after the abolishment of slavery, Walker was orphaned, married, pregnant, and widowed by 20.
Mhm.
But her strong resolve kept her going. The entrepreneur lesson of her success with her hair care products, Madam C.J. Walker blazed a new trail for Black women. She not only offered products designed especially for Black women at a time when most beauty products ignored their hair type, she also opened the door for other women to earn money selling her Walker hair care system.
Mhm.
Talk about advanced, right?
Mhm.
Pardon me. With her
Mhm.
$1 million fortune, a rarity for a self made woman, let alone a Black woman, she contributed generously to schools and programs such as the YMCA and the NAACP.
Mhm.
She's been posthumously inducted into the National Business Hall of Fame and the National Women's Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
Quote, if you recognize an unserved customer base, do something about it.
Mhm.
How about that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And when you talk about these people, all of them went through hard times. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it wasn't an easy road for them at all. And when I earlier I mentioned Montgomery Ward's, I mean, my goodness, I mean, during the Depression, he lost money, no question about that. But he continued on, and he persevered. And a lot of people went out of business during the Depression.
Right.
And there was a lot of people, what's really amazing about the Depression, a lot of people don't realize there was a lot of people who became millionaires during the Depression.
Well, I don't think it's still true today, but up until the pandemic hit,
Mm-hmm.
right after the Depression, more millionaires were made than any other time in
Mm-hmm.
our country's history.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And with this, when you run into hard times, you've got to take a deep breath and relax and remain focused. The main thing is don't ever lose your swagger.
Right.
I'm not talking about a puffed up pride. I'm talking about who you are, what makes you unique, what makes you different, what makes you shine. And Montgomery Ward, he lived up to that. And in 1944, for example, 4 months into a nationwide strike by the company's 12,000 workers, the U.S. Army troops seized the company's Chicago offices. A lot of people don't realize that. That was a direct violation of the Fourth Amendment, but it
Right.
happened. But no matter what happened to him and what happened to, the people in his corporation, they were there for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be things that happen to you. There's going to be things happen to Donna and me, and it's just life. But the fact of it is, you don't quit, you don't give
Right.
up, and you persevere.
Just dig in a little harder.
Yeah, because success, it's really, I heard it defined one way, and success is often described as a humble beginning with an unexpected end.
Right.
And that's pretty true, because everybody has humble beginnings is going to have, they're going to go through difficult times and trying times and things like that. But that's what builds character. That's what builds strength. And that's what, lays the foundation for a strong, strong future.
Well, and it can
And
also be described, Jim, as a series of lessons learned that didn't go so well, right?
sure.
Until the lesson clicks and everything works,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because I don't really like the word failure, but
No.
it's too much of a negative connotation. But in short,
Mhm.
you go through so many failures before you hit that success, before
Mhm.
you click on the right
Mhm.
everything. Everything's
Yeah.
lined up perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. Because one of the things that was most common denominator with the 500 richest men that Napoleon Hill interviewed during his career was that all of them had a remarkable mother. And the other thing was they kept trying and trying and trying. And before they quit, or before they were willing to give up, they decided to take one more step, and then
Mm-hmm.
success happens.
Right.
And that's just the way, that happens just about every single time. It really
Mm-hmm.
does. And it's really encouraging for us to look at people who have been successful, look at their trials, the things they overcome with. And we encourage people on the show to go to YouTube, for example, and look at the video put on by Earl Nightingale, The
Mm-hmm.
Strangest Secret. And it's really hard sometimes to wrap your mind around something like when Earl talks about no matter what you've asked for, it's automatically yours, because the universe cannot say no. The universe
Right.
cannot turn you down. That's kind of hard it was hard for me to get my mind wrapped around it. It really was.
Right.
And, I'm sure I didn't have a patent on that. But, a lot of people have that ability. They read something like that and they go like, it, you know, you couldn't, for a while there, I could not get that wrapped around my mind.
Right.
But,
And then one
but
day the epiphany happens.
oh yeah, one day the light bulb goes off and you're home and you see the light.
Right.
But The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale is really a unique. It's about a 32-minute, I think it is, if I remember last time I looked at it, about 32 minutes, about a half an hour long. And if you're in a country where YouTube's not available, you can go online and actually Google The Strangest Secret, or do a search, SEO, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, and you can get it in a PDF form or in a Word document that is word for word what's said on the video.
Yep.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So I love this next one, and everybody knows this name. W.K. Kellogg, 1860 to 1951.
Mhm.
Before it graced American breakfast tables, W.K. Kellogg's cornflakes cereal was served as a fiber-rich health food at the Battle Creek Sanitarium, a
Mm.
holistic healing facility in Western Michigan. While Kellogg created the first toasted wheat flake cereal, his entrepreneurial strength lay in marketing and advertising prowess. Despite copycat cereals popping up in the marketplace, C.W. Post launched his own cereal company after staying at the sanitarium. Kellogg differentiated his product with a clever slogan: "Beware of imitations. None genuine without this signature. W.K.
Mm.
Kellogg."
Mm.
And his quote referred to C.W. Post as, "Don't let anybody copy your process."
That's
Interesting.
really something. Yeah, it really is. I really like his outlook there, and he got people to buy in on the same thing that he believed in. He really
Mhm.
did.
Absolutely.
And that's sharing your vision with others. And that's what people want to see. They want to see, you know, they want to see what you're made out of, what you believe in. And I'm
Right.
looking at the Kellogg Gary, and he's, oh my goodness, what he has done for the country and for others. My goodness gracious, just tremendous, just
It is.
tremendous. Mhm. And like right now, we'd like to offer you folks out there in TV land a free complimentary gift. Uh, Donna's going to invite everybody over to her house after the show.
For
But really,
guacamole.
really, yeah, we had that on Friday, yeah. But realistically, Donna can offer you a complimentary 30-minute consultation on what is blocking your energy. And I'd
Absolutely.
just like for her to share a little bit about what she does there.
Well, this is, I have a lot of skin in that game, understanding the block of energy. And it comes down to three things: a person, a place, or a thing, or a combination thereof. And so when we are stuck in that area or areas, right, and we can't get past it, we don't always know it's even there. We just know something isn't right in our life. But the
Mhm.
reason is because, as just human nature, sometimes we're just too close to the forest to see the trees.
Mhm.
And that's where I come in. I help you through a design program go through and dissect what it is that's bothering you, that you may not even know the exact area it's at.
Mhm.
And then as we work through that, you find that your energy opens up and your negative energy goes away. And it's a learned thing. You learn how to keep the negative away. So
Mhm.
it's not just a one time you come back, although that has happened, but it's learning to handle what is negative and blocking you going forward in your life.
Mhm.
And that's what makes a difference, Jim.
Oh yeah, it really does because and once you get unfocused on the problem, then you can focus on the solution.
Absolutely.
And so many times we get caught up in the process of that. Also, too, with Bill Heinrich, a great friend of ours, um, my goodness gracious, the seven levels of truth. My goodness, he has a book there, The Seven Levels of Truth. This is it here on, I got a copy of it. This is on Amazon. Bill believes, and or doesn't believe, he knows for a fact that what's blocking your energy is a train wreck for you. And you can get in touch with Bill at True Life Purpose Now. Bill will also give you a 30-minute complimentary consultation. And as far as I like to offer folks out there, because speaking is big.
Yes.
Speaking is huge, and a lot of people find it. Think I'm kidding when I said when I was in grade school, all the way up through my most of my adult life, I avoided public speaking at all costs because it scared me to death. I got
Hmm.
scarred in school at an early age doing oral book reports. It was torture for me, and I hated it. And then life led me in a way that I had to become an instructor in the military. And I had no choice but to conquer that. So, having a fear of public speaking is what's known as glossophobia. If you contact us here at the TV station there, email inspiratione360tv.com and just say, hey, I'd like to have that document on glossophobia or the fear of public speaking. Let us know. We'll be glad to get that to you. It's our gift.
Absolutely.
And
And I would like to say, on behalf of Jim and Bill and myself, please know that this gift is nothing but from our heart. And we
mhm,
are not going to hound you. We're not going to
mhm,
bombard your email. We'll just
no,
simply do what we can to help you.
yeah,
And we are all way too busy.
mhm.
And I just feel it's really important because I'm sure we've all had people bombard us over and over again. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, but we don't do that.
No, we certainly don't. The reason we don't do it is because we know how you feel and we feel when it happens to us. And we don't want to have our name tarnished like that because it's just not necessary.
Right.
And, our website is ourtvshow.live. That's a short link people can remember that will direct you to our website of messagesofinspirationalstories.live. But also, our shows are available on YouTube as well as our website. It's also available on our Facebook page. So please like, share, and follow with, the information of anything that we cover with others. And since we got our email address up there, I got to put it back up there. With this new fall program, of course, on Monday, we're covering, making a difference in business. And Tuesdays, we're going to be covering, finding health naturally. Wednesdays is youth, making a difference. Thursday is pets we love. Friday is women in leadership.
Yes.
Now, as you become more familiar with these shows, because each Monday, that's what, like today, Monday will be making a difference in business. That's what this program will be every single Monday. And the same is true with the other programs. But as you become more familiar with these, if you would like to send us a comment or ask us to cover something, or if you have a short video that's directly applicable to what the program is for that day or from that particular day, we'll be glad to consider it and blend it in appropriately. Get my tongue going here. Just make sure it's a good quality video and maybe up to a minute long. That's about as long as we really need because, like on pets, some people may have a 10-minute video of their pet because they love it and it's just as cute as it could be, but we can't take up 10 minutes of our time on one pet. We might get run off,
Right. But honestly, folks, we welcome, things from you that you'd like to hear, that you'd like us to cover, or things that you might know that we don't. And we are super open to that. So please, 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 inspiration at e360tv.com, and one of our staff will get it to us.
Absolutely.
Well, Jim, I have somebody I want to talk about real quick.
Okay, is it me?
I'll talk about you in a minute. So this is near and dear to your heart, though. Does that help?
Okay. All right, let's hear it.
Milton Hershey, 1857 to 1945. Milton Hershey offered the masses what had once been a luxury only for the rich, a sweet, decadent enjoyment anyone could afford, called the Hershey Milk Chocolate Candy Bar. He used modern machinery to mass produce products at a lower cost than producing them by hand. He believed the most productive workers were those who earned a real living wage, so they too could afford to buy the products that they helped produce. But Hershey just didn't build a company, he built a town. With tree-lined streets of single and two-family brick neighborhoods, quality public school systems, inexpensive public transportation, and attractive parks and recreation. Hershey and his wife poured their fortune into philanthropic foundations to provide educational and cultural opportunities for local residents. In 1918, Hershey endowed what is now known today as the Milton Hershey School with his entire fortune of Hershey Company stock. That's a lot. Appropriately, the town was renamed from Derry Township to Hershey, PA, and remains a popular tourist attraction. Quote, give them quality. That's the best kind of advertising in the world.
Oh.
Is that not a profound?
Yes.
Now, this is a man who not only had a dream, pursued it, but saw a bigger dream for the people that worked with him. So he literally put his money where his mind and mouth went.
And that's one thing to remember. When you deliver quality, you never have to apologize for it.
Nope.
And when I was in business, with my manufacturing business, there was an opportunity to make a cheaper product to be able to attract a specific market.
Right.
And I said, no, I'm not going to go down that route because my products have a reputation of lasting.
Right.
And I don't want to just trade the reputation we've earned all those years and sell
get
products.
repeat business and get referral business.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Month in and month out, the same companies would call us over and over and over because one of the strengths that we had, well, we had our own delivery trucks and they called today, they got it today, within reason. Of course, if they called today and we're in Texas and they're in Georgia, they're not going to get it today. But most of the businesses around the area, they knew that if they called, before noon, they could probably get it that afternoon because either I would run it over there in my truck or my son would take it over there in the truck or the company truck or whatever it took to get the job done, we did it. And we had a reputation of the products lasting. And I chose not to get into that cheaper market because I didn't want to start creating the reputation that some of our products are good and some of them are not good,
Okay.
And I just couldn't go down that street. Mm-hmm. And I never once ever had a complaint on the quality of my product. I can say.
And you never regretted it either.
No, ma'am. Mm-mm. Not at all. Not at all. I didn't make as much money as I could the other way, but you know what? I slept better.
Well,
I mean,
that to me is having that peace of mind that when you look at yourself in the mirror, Jim, and you can say, yep, I didn't screw anybody today. I didn't take their money. I didn't make an inferior product. And this is what is one of the most important things to me. And if anybody knows me, they know that this is true and something I don't even play with: integrity. Integrity is everything to me.
Yeah, because that's extremely important. And Hershey was real big on that. And one of the things a lot of people don't know, he created Hershey Park. It was an amusement center. Yeah. And that's part of giving back for families because his park was created and the people who were able to go there, they could afford to go there.
Right.
And that was his intent, was to return back to the community. Of course, he had costs he had to cover, sure. And that was part of what the mission did. But the fact of it was, Hershey Park was a fun place. It was his way of saying thank you to families for making me successful.
Well, and he didn't make amusement park admission so high you couldn't get in.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. He wanted to give back so much, and he's just
and he did.
Yes, he did. And he opened the park there. The theme park was opened in 1906 and formerly called Hershey Park. And it included a baseball game. See, here again, I mean, goodness, it's all about entertainment. And music was performed, and rides were, the first ride was added in 1908. It was a merry-go-round and roller coasters, and he put in pools. Oh, yeah. He just made it a fun place to go. He really did. And it has over 142 rides today, I think, something like that. But it's just amazing how his desire was, he didn't go into the theme park business for money.
No.
He did not do that.
He went into it for the people.
Yes, he did. Yes,
Period.
He did.
He went into it to help alleviate the difference between the really wealthy who could afford to go anywhere and the common person working. Yeah,
exactly right. Because a lot of people are very familiar with Disney World and all that. But see, I mean, he opened his park. I mean, it was 1901, I think, 1906.
Right.
It was when it was open. And, he kind of like set the standard for Disney to follow, you might say. He really did.
Absolutely.
And it's just amazing what would make someone sit down and think, how can I give back to the community? How can I, because chocolate was something that people enjoyed. And he wanted to enjoy returning something to them. So he came up with I'm going to have a theme park, a place where people can come and have fun. Oh, wow. That's off the chart. You think about that.
And for back then, that was as innovative thinking as can be.
Oh, yeah. It sure was. It certainly was.
He was a true visionary, Jim.
Yeah, he sure was. And what made him a great man was the fact that he was able to give back to his community. If you want to be a big person, learn how to give back and help the smaller people that you can help in your life. Children, people who are like single moms. You can give to organizations who support them.
Right.
You can do many charitable things without any recognition of your name because you don't really need that.
Right.
Because when you do something like that, especially if it's unknown, that's always best. The energy will bring it back to you. It sure will. And,
absolutely will. And, when you do, here's another thing. When you do something for somebody who can't give back, that is the true definition of love. It is a true definition of humanity and love.
Oh, yeah. Because giving something to someone that they cannot, there's no way they can repay you for it. That's a higher calling. That raises you head and shoulders above a multitude of people.
Absolutely.
Your name will never be mentioned on the front page news. Your picture will never be mentioned there. But you know what?
You can sleep good at night.
The thing of it is, at the higher plane, above the stars, you're somebody. Don't ever forget that.
And you can sleep well at night and be proud of who you are and what you do.
And that'll give you a swagger, not a puffed up pride, but it gives you fresh air in your lungs, heartbeat in your veins. And that's what makes life worth living, because you're going to be blessed with things that money cannot buy. And the things you're going to be blessed with, Donna, what I love about it, money can't buy it and a thief can't steal it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the biggest things that anybody can give anybody, if I can just say this real quick, and it only costs zero, and it only takes a moment, is give them a smile.
Yeah.
Give them a smile, because a smile is a welcome. It's saying, I see you. I acknowledge you. And you don't even have to say a word. You can just smile and nod at somebody.
Oh, yeah. And when you get tempted to, give somebody some advice, look in the mirror, give yourself some advice and say, don't say that. Because if you're going to say something, it's kind of like my mother used to say, make sure if you can't say something nice about someone, then don't say anything at all. I think we all heard that from our parents, didn't we, growing up?
Oh, absolutely.
That was a standard. That was kind of like, cleanliness is next to godliness. I thought that was in the scripture. What do I know?
All of my children will tell you that the standard in my house was good manners never go out of style. And
there you go.
And to this day, my children have amazing manners.
Oh, yeah, they really do. Well, it looks like our time's about ticked down and just about gone. My goodness.
But tomorrow we will be back.
And Tuesdays, we're going to be talking about finding health naturally. That's every single Tuesday and every single Wednesday. We're going to be talking about making a difference, not making a difference in business, but youth making a difference. Got my tongue wrapped around my tooth there. Youth making a difference. That's a twofold type of show. Pay attention to to our YouTube channel there. You can catch our previous shows. But we're going to be talking about young entrepreneurs who either started a business or a cause. we're also going to be interviewing and talking about, sharing some stories about people who have become mentors to young people and help them find their way in. And then on Thursdays, of course, we got our, I got to be honest, that's kind of our fun day. Pets we love.
Yes.
And then, of course, Friday is Women in Leadership. And our time is gone, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure and love yourself first, then you can love others. And be sure and give yourself, as Donna likes to say,
grace.
Amen. Please share our show with others. We'll see